Burkina Faso is a small country in West Africa. It does not have gold towers or big factories. But it has strong people. It has proud people. And it has a leader with a big heart, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. For many years, Burkina Faso had only one old airport in the capital, Ouagadougou. The airport was too small. It was slow. When big planes came, there was not enough space. The waiting rooms were hot. There were no modern systems. It made travelers feel tired and sad. Tourists didn't like it. Businessmen didn't want to return. People from other countries asked, "Why is Burkina Faso's airport so weak?" The people of Burkina Faso also wondered. They wanted more. They wanted something new. But no one had done anything about it. Then something changed. One morning, Captain Ibrahim Traoré stood before a crowd of people at a town hall meeting. The sky was clear. His face was calm, but his eyes were full of fire. He raised the microphone and spoke in a strong voice. "My brothers and sisters," he said. "We are not poor. We are not weak. We are rich with courage. We are full of power. It's time to prove it." The people listened closely. For too long, he continued. "We have waited for others to build for us. But now, we will build for ourselves. And we will start with something big. Something that will lift this country into the skies." The people waited. What could it be? Then he said the words. "We will build a brand new, world-class airport." There was silence. Then gasps. Then shouts of surprise. One old man stood up. His beard was white. His voice trembled. "Captain, this dream is too big," he said. "We don't have money. We don't have machines. How can we build $1 billion airport?" Traoré walked down from the stage. He looked the old man in the eyes. Then he said, "We may not have money in our pockets, but we have ideas in our minds and strength in our hands. That is more powerful than gold." A young woman stood up. "But sir," she said, "other leaders made promises like this and never kept them." Traoré nodded. "That is true," he said. "But I am not those leaders. I do not make noise. I make change." The crowd started to feel hope. A young boy shouted, "I want to be a pilot." A market woman clapped her hands and said, "We are ready. Let's build it." Traoré smiled. "We will not beg the West," he said. "We will not take loans that trap us. We will build with what we have. And when we don't have enough, we will partner, not beg, with those who respect our strength." That evening, the speech was shared all over Burkina Faso. On phones, radios, and TV, people were talking. Farmers spoke about it in the fields. Teachers spoke about it in schools. Children drew pictures of airplanes. Even people in other African countries started asking, "What is happening in Burkina Faso?" The next week, Traoré held a private meeting with engineers, architects, and urban planners. He showed them sketches. He showed them maps. He said, "We will not copy other countries. We will build something that fits our land, our people, and our future." He pointed to a drawing of the airport. It had solar panels, smart systems, and green spaces. It looked like the future. He then said something that gave everyone chills. "This is not just a place for planes. This is a door to Africa. A gate to a new Burkina Faso." The room was silent. Then, one by one, they began to clap. The dream was no longer just in his mind. It had entered the hearts of the people. And so, a new chapter for Burkina Faso had begun. After Captain Ibrahim Traoré told the nation about his big dream to build $1 billion airport, the whole country started talking. The poor, the rich, the young, and the old all had one question. How will we pay for it? Building an airport is not like building a school or a hospital. It costs a lot of money. Planes need strong runways. People need clean and large terminals. You need light, water, roads, and safety systems. You need trained workers. The dream was big, and so was the price. The team sat down with calculators and paper. They wrote down every cost. Land. Machines. Cement, glass, steel. Computers and lights. Water and power. Security systems. Workers' pay. It came up to nearly $1 billion. Some ministers in the room looked scared. One said, "This is too much, Captain. Maybe we should wait." But Traoré shook his head. "No. If we wait, we stay behind. Africa has waited too long. We will not wait anymore." He started with something simple but smart. He cut waste in government. He removed ministers who were lazy. He stopped all fake contracts. "We will not spend on luxuries," he said. "No new cars for officials. No big dinners. Every franc must be used for the people." Within 6 months, Burkina Faso saved millions of dollars just by cutting bad spending. But that was not enough. They needed partners, not masters. Traoré told his team, "We will not run to the IMF or the World Bank. They give loans with chains. We want freedom, not more debt." He looked across Africa. He sent messages to friendly countries, Mali, Niger, Guinea, and more. He also reached out to the Middle East, especially countries like Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. A few weeks later, something big happened. A team of investors from Qatar arrived in Ouagadougou. They wore clean white robes and spoke with calm voices. They met Traoré in a simple room, no gold chairs, no red carpets. Traoré welcomed them with bread, water, and mango juice. "This is Burkina Faso," he said. "We are simple, but we are honest." He showed them the airport plans. He spoke with passion. He showed them the land. He explained how this airport would open West Africa to the world. The Qatari leader said, "You speak with fire, Captain. What do you want from us?" Traoré looked him in the eye. "Not a loan," he said. "But a partnership? We build together. We win together." The room was silent. Then the Qatari leader smiled. "Very well," he said. "We will invest. No interest. No tricks. We believe in your dream." Soon after, investors from the UAE also came. They were impressed too. They said, "We've helped build airports in Dubai and Doha. Now, we will help build one in Burkina Faso." The next step was to find land. The old airport in Ouagadougou was too crowded. There was no space to expand. So, they sent experts to search outside the city. After 2 weeks, they found it, a wide, dry, open land just 30 kilometers from the capital. It had flat soil, easy road access, and sunlight all year round. When Traoré visited the land, he stood still for a while. The wind blew gently. The sun touched his face. "This is the place," he said. "Here, the future will rise." The land belonged to poor farmers. Traoré made sure they were not pushed out. He said, "We will pay them fairly. We will also give them new land and support to start again." The farmers agreed. Some even cried. "Thank you for respecting us," one farmer said. Other leaders just take. "You gave us honor." Traoré replied, "Without the people, there is no nation." Work began quickly. Surveyors came. Architects marked the land. Machines arrived. The area was fenced. Security was added. A big white sign was placed at the entrance. In bold letters, it read, "Site of the new Burkina Faso International Airport." People came from nearby villages just to look at it. Some took photos. Others brought food for the workers. Hope was spreading. Captain Traoré called a meeting with his team. He looked around and said, "The money is ready. The land is ready. The people are ready. Now, we build." And with that, the dream moved one step closer to becoming real. The land was ready. The money had been found. The plan was clear. Now, it was time to build. Most leaders in Africa bring in foreign workers when they want to build big things. They bring engineers from Europe, machine operators from China, and managers from France. But Captain Ibrahim Traoré said something different. "This airport must be built by the people of Burkina Faso," he said. "Our hands are not weak. Our minds are not empty. This project will belong to us." At first, some people laughed. "We don't have enough experts," they said. "Foreigners are faster," others warned. But Traoré was firm. He called the youth of the country to come forward. "You want jobs? Come. You want to learn? Come. You want to help your country? Then come build with us." Thousands of young men and women answered the call. Some were jobless for years. Some had never seen a construction site before. But they were willing to learn. The government quickly set up training centers near the airport site. Engineers and builders from across Africa were invited to teach, not to lead. Within months, the youth were learning how to mix cement, lay bricks, design roads, operate machines, install lights and cables, use safety gear. Some of the young workers became skilled so fast that they began training others. "This is more than just work," one young woman said. "This is a school. This is a mission." The airport started to rise like a dream. The runway stretched long and wide. Big machines rolled over the dry land. Cranes lifted steel. Trucks moved materials day and night. The terminal building took shape. It had glass walls, cool air, and space for thousands of travelers. There were clean toilets, wide check-in halls, and areas for security checks. The design was modern, but also included African culture, with art, colors, and wooden designs from local craftsmen. But it wasn't just about the buildings. Traoré wanted the airport to have everything it needed. A new power station to bring electricity. A clean water system for drinking and cleaning. Roads that connected the airport to the capital city. A hotel for travelers. A fire station and medical center for safety. He also made sure the area had trees and green spaces. He said, "This will not be a place of smoke and noise only. It must also breathe. Nature must live here too." Women helped in many ways. Some cooked meals for the workers. Others cleaned the site. Some carried bricks on their heads. Some managed paperwork and worked as assistants. "We are part of the team," said one woman proudly. Burkina Faso is not just men. Women build too. Captain Traoré visited the site every week. He walked with no bodyguards. He shook hands with workers. He listened to their stories. When one worker's mother died, Traoré attended the funeral. When a worker was injured, he paid for the hospital bill himself. "We are one family," he said. "When one of us falls, we all lift him up." The people began to believe more and more. They worked harder. They came earlier. They stayed longer. Even workers from nearby countries started coming to help. One man from Mali said, "I want to help build this airport. One day, my children will fly from here." The airport was not just a building anymore. It was a symbol. It showed the world that Burkina Faso could rise. It showed Africa that the people didn't need to beg. And slowly, day by day, steel by steel, the dream came alive. The sun was shining bright. Birds flew across the sky. Music was playing from drums and flutes. People wore their best clothes, some in traditional African outfits, others in clean uniforms. After many months of hard work, sweat, and sacrifice, the dream had become real. The brand new Burkina Faso International Gateway Airport was finished. The airport stood tall and proud on the land outside Ouagadougou. The buildings were shiny. The runways were smooth. The lights sparkled at night. From the sky, the whole area looked like a new city. The airport had 2 long runways for big airplanes, modern check-in counters and wide halls, shops, restaurants, and banks inside, a hotel for guests who needed to sleep overnight, a smart system for luggage, solar panels to help with electricity, clean water flowing everywhere, a medical center, fire station, and police post. People came from all over the country to see it. Some came by bus. Some rode motorbikes. Others walked for hours. They just wanted to see it with their own eyes. They couldn't believe that their country had built something so big and beautiful. A young boy looked at the airplanes and shouted, "Mama, I want to be a pilot." An old woman touched the wall and whispered, "This is for my grandchildren." The big opening day arrived. Flags from different African countries were waving. Soldiers stood in line. Drummers beat the drums with joy. Women danced. Children sang. Important leaders came from Mali, Niger, Guinea, Togo, and other parts of Africa. Reporters from Al Jazeera, BBC, and African news stations were there too. Then, Captain Ibrahim Traoré arrived. He wore a simple dark suit with the Burkina Faso flag on his chest. No gold chains. No red carpet. He walked with his people, smiling, shaking hands, hugging mothers, greeting workers. The people cheered. "Traoré! Traoré! The people's captain!" A young girl gave him flowers. He bent down and thanked her. Then he stood on the stage, took the microphone, and looked at the crowd. There was silence. Then, he began to speak. "My people, this is your day," he said. "This is not my airport. This is your airport. It was not built with lies. It was built with your sweat, your hands, your hearts." The crowd shouted in joy. Today, we are not just opening a building. We are opening a new future. This airport is a door. A door to jobs. A door to business. A door to Africa and the world. He continued. Now, farmers can send their crops to Europe. Students can travel and learn. Tourists will come and see our land. We are no longer behind. We are flying forward. He turned to the investors from Qatar and the UAE. "Thank you for believing in us. You gave us partnership, not chains." He turned to the youth and said, "You built this. Never forget your power. You were jobless before. But now you are builders. You are creators." Then, with the press watching, the cameras flashing, and thousands of eyes looking on, Traoré cut the red ribbon. The airport was now open. A plane from Paris landed. Then one from Dubai. Then one from Bamako. The sky above Burkina Faso was now full of movement. Inside the airport, people lined up. Passports were stamped. Bags were rolled. Smiles were everywhere. A young woman who worked at the check-in counter said, "I used to sell oranges on the street. Now, I welcome visitors from around the world." A cleaner said, "This job feeds my children." Outside, people took selfies. Some cried. Some prayed. The leaders who came from other countries were shocked. "How did you do this without loans from the West?" one asked. "How did you train so many workers so fast?" Traoré replied simply, "We believed in ourselves." That was enough. As the sun set, the lights of the airport glowed. It looked like a star in the middle of the land. People sat on the hills and watched the planes. Some didn't even want to go home. They just wanted to see something beautiful, something that was theirs. And as night fell, Captain Ibrahim Traoré stood by the runway, hands behind his back, watching a plane take off. Someone asked him, "What next?" He smiled and said, "This is just the beginning. Burkina Faso is ready to rise."